blessed with each and every day. And we pray as always that you'll continue to watch over those around us, our friends, our family, for the leadership of the county, our nation, which will continue to lead, guide us as we are about our mission. And we pray that you'll continue to forgive us of our sins and bless us that we can conduct business and carry on about our days, and that everyone when they leave this place will be safe traveling back to their homes. In Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Sure will. Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Toler?
Here.
Mr. Foster?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Gould is absent.
Having quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. Going down the agenda, approval of minutes, we'll put that off till next meeting and not that already. Public comments.
Here,
Yes, ma'am.
I finished tax disbursement yesterday, and so the checks will be processed today.
Good deal. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to pass on that today starts the 46th year of Rave Industries, the shelter workshop in Union County and in Anna, with over 100 employees and several millions of dollars that they have brought into the county through the shelter workshop program. So I hope that if you see a Rave person out there, you'll congratulate them, because it's been a good neighbor and a good industry in the county for 45 years.
That's amazing. That makes me feel really old. Nothing else? Committee reports? I don't have anything either. Update on the animal control land building. We're in the process of getting a survey done, hopefully in another week or so. As soon as that's finished, we'll be putting together an intergovernmental agreement, sending it to the city of Anna, and go from there. So hopefully it'll be good news. Building permits.
You have two of them. The first one is for parcel 0229011139A. It's at 6850 State Route 146 in Anna for a Brandy Whitney, a mobile home previously subdivided, no floodplain, and recommended for approval. And your second one is for, parcel number is not on here, 425 Country Club Lane in Dongola. It's for Corey Zinn. It's a mobile home, previously subdivided, no floodplain, recommended for approval.
Any questions or comments? No. I'll get a motion to approve. I'll make a motion. Second.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Toler? Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Next on the agenda, old business, resolution filling vacancy in the office of state's attorney until such office is filled in 2020 general election. That will remain tabled, just by way of We will be continuing today's meeting till Tuesday at 8:30. The reason we're doing that, the whole board has agreed that for something of this importance, we want the whole board here to vote and so forth, so that will be continued. New business, approval of payment of bills. Everybody had a chance to look at the bills. Any questions or comments? I get a motion to pay our bills.
Make a motion.
I'll say.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Next on the agenda, we have Marcia Griffin with us for discussion on consumer fraud and identity theft. We welcome you and anxious to hear this.
Well, it's good to be with all of you today. Like you said, my name is Marcia Griffin. I'm here for the Illinois Attorney General's Office. And just to give Union County residents just a little insight about all the services we provide. We have over 40 different divisions in the Illinois Attorney General's Office to serve Illinois consumers and over 750 employees. My capacity is a community outreach liaison. I'm responsible for the southern third of the state. We work in a bipartisan manner, and I go out into the community and do presentations about consumer fraud and identity theft. And what I can tell you, that there is a great need. I did a presentation up in Murfreesboro, and it was a senior who just recently lost over $7,000 due to the grandparent scam. And our local sheriff just issued a notice on social media about the Social Security scam. So I'm out there educating every single day. The reason I came today is I would like to offer my services and see if the board would be willing to perhaps let me set up a resource table periodically in the courthouse to have resources to educate people about consumer fraud and all the resources that we have, and we're able to help them. Just recently, a lady lost over $3,500, and our office was able to get that money put back in her account. And so I see it as a real opportunity just to, as people are coming into the courthouse, to be able to have those resources available to them. I serve 37 counties and would certainly love to serve the people of Union County in that manner. And so it'd just be more or less having materials. We could see if there would be a need for it, if the foot traffic justified having a table, but that's what I was here to ask for today. For
Very good.
consideration. Thank you.
I think this is a very, very important topic, as you said. It's increasingly getting worse by the day. I personally don't have a problem with doing that.
I don't need to know. I think it's a pretty good
I
deal.
think it would be good. And we can even possibly look into putting something on our website,
Okay.
so forth. So
And I have a printable flyer that you could use to promote it in the local media. And that way, if there were people who had questions, they could come in. But it would certainly just be a resource table like I set up at senior fairs and that type of thing. A lot of times, these types of problems get referred to the state's attorney, and people don't know that we have the ability, if someone is indeed getting those scam phone calls, if they report that to our office, we have the capability of taking that number out of service where they can't bother residents again. Because if a senior in Union County has had it, probably 500 of their closest friends have had that same phone call also. So I do appreciate that, and I can just reach out and we can come up with a date that would be good to try the first one, and then if there's justification for it, we could do it, maybe every 3 months or so.
that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, it's wide open, so.
Okay, well, I very much appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I've set up a property fraud alert system too for any land records and things like that. A lot of seniors are being abused. That's a new crime coming in, so if you want to get together sometime, I
Okay,
can give you some information on that too.
certainly. Okay, well, thank you very
Yep.
much. I appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is presentation of new electricity rates for county facilities. Bruce Wallace.
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you our new pricing for the next period. I wanted to discuss a little bit, if I could, about this with you. Currently, the county is under a contract through AGE as the broker with AEP Energy. Typically, we go out and right at contract time, which is this month, and price with anywhere from 4 to 6 different suppliers, which you have in front of you now. AEP, the blue at the top, are the current low pricing suppliers for 12, 24, 36, and 48 months. Those are in order there from top to bottom. The second page, the prices are now lower than they were the contract period last year. So we want to show you a spreadsheet on the different terms on the second page and what your cost savings would be projected over in yellow over to the right. The county's facilities use about 756,000 kilowatts for all facilities combined. Your current rate, which is in the middle there, which is 4.498 cents per kilowatt hour. You'll see it's about just the fourth column over, or fifth column over. And then your current rate, based on what term you decide, is 2 columns to the right. And then your projected overall cost for the county, ranging from $31,000 to $33,000, depending on the term there, and then your projected savings. The real important issue that I want to talk to you about is in the next page. We have a newsletter that's provided that to you. The next 2 pages, that's just for informational. You can look at that at your convenience. However, the chart on the first page is an Ameren chart. Ameren supplies us with data that we use in conjunction with pricing with the other suppliers. Ameren, as you are aware, is now a delivery company. They no longer produce energy, which allows operations like ours as a broker to go and supply our clients with other energy sources. We go out and shop with a number of different suppliers. The Ameren chart for the last 3 years, you'll see the pricing has gone down. So it's been a good market for me, because when I go in, usually I go in at a lower price. Every time I go back and do contract periods, I'm usually in a better position. You'll see all the way over to the right, projected rates have actually already started to increase slightly. As I was mentioning to Angie earlier, in my world, when I say a price increase, it could be several hundredths of a cent. But overall, over time, especially over the usage that people like the county have, it can make a substantial difference. It can be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I just wanted to give you some insight there as you determine what term you want to go. Typically, you've done a 12-month term with us. But in the rising market that we have, you might want to consider going longer. That's just up to you. However, as we see the trend going up, we just want you to be, it's a cautionary note that if you wait 12 months and then every 12 months after that, you keep doing a 12-month cycle, every time you go, when I come back the next time, the price will probably not be going down. So you can lock in the price now at a lower rate, and might be beneficial for the county long term. Any questions?
In the past, you're right, we have always, since I've been here, done a year contract because of not knowing, but you feel relatively certain this is gonna hold like it's showing here on the chart and so forth.
Yeah, well, we lock in a price today, then that price will be that price for however long the term determine. And again, the cautionary tale here is that if, a year from now, if you lock in this price now, a year from now, obviously if the rates continue to go up, then 12 months from now, when we do a contract, the likelihood of the rates being higher is going to be substantial. So it's just a matter of what, the commissioners are comfortable with. I just want you to be aware of that, going forward. But I will say this, that what we're doing, we're being proactive with our large accounts. And now, even though they might be a year from now before they expire, we're trying to be proactive in getting out in front of them and saying, with these types of issues that are coming up that we see in the marketplace, looking at going for a new contract now to start at the end of their existing contract, even though it might be a year from now, might be to the benefit instead of waiting until their contract expires a year from now and then having a higher price.
Well, and I understand that was mainly my question. I mean, before, your advice has always been pretty well go a year, because it was probably gonna go down, but.
Right, that's correct. That's kind of what we were looking at over time, and we have a lot of one-year contracts in our portfolio. But now in essence, we're advising that you might want to look at longer term. So just whatever you're comfortable with.
Anybody else have questions?
I have contracts with me that I can get,
Right.
Based on what you guys decide, and then I'll, supply that to you for execution. But it is due at the end of this month.
Yeah, I mean, we have it on the agenda to make a decision.
Oh, okay, okay,
Right.
good. Thank you.
After.
I think we could probably go out at least a couple of years, because that's still less than what we're paying now.
Yeah, looking at that spreadsheet, I think if it was 2 years, I don't know if we want to go 3, I mean, it's still less than what we're paying. I don't.
Yeah, all terms are less.
Right. I don't know, if I'm comfortable with going 4, but whatever everybody thinks, so.
3 to 4 years. It's cheaper. It's cheaper.
Yeah, and it is, yeah.
And then you're comfortable now too.
So Bruce, just so they are looking at the same thing, this sheet right here, it looks like where it has the lowest electric supply offer, because you gave a rate like a few days ago, and they fluctuate every day. So these rates are not the exact rates that are in place as of today.
Yes,
They're not these. Right here.
yes. Those are today's rates.
That's over.
This is today's rates, but this hasn't been updated with today's rates.
Yes, it has. Aren't they the same?
No,
Okay, my mistake.
Okay.
They haven't been. They're probably the older ones. I'm
they
sorry.
are. They're the ones from about a week ago. So what I just wanted you guys to see is like the rate for
I
the
didn't even notice that. Thank you for catching that, John.
3-year is almost the same as the rate for the 2-year was a few days ago. So your 3-year rate is gonna have close to the $4,000 a year
So the rate,
savings.
yeah, the rates here are today's rates.
Yeah.
On this particular page. So actually, I guess in essence,
These are higher.
Yeah, these are higher. These rates will actually, the savings will actually be slightly better.
Yes.
Thanks for catching that. Sorry. I printed off
Yeah.
last week's price.
Everybody good with that?
You want to move to the next item then?
Yeah,
Vote on it?
go ahead and to the next item, agency electricity agreement. I'll make a motion that we sign a new contract for 36 months.
Second.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes, it's not very often that we get to save money, so.
That's correct. Especially that's one of the good things about my position and what I do. I usually go in.
This
Doesn't cost anything to save money.
This does apply to the commissioner's home electric.
Well, that was a good try.
That's one of the-
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, resolution appointing commissioners of the Union County Housing Authority Board. It's everyone that's up for.
Everyone but one. There's 7
There's
commissioners.
6 of the 7, yeah.
It is in the resolution, the 6 people that we're reappointing, Martha Ann Webb, her term would expire in 2021. Chris Clark, expiring in 2021. Danny Hartline, expiring in 2022. Nancy Watkins in 2022. Neil Cool in 2023, and Paula Stairs in 2023. All of these people who wish to stay on the board. So, I make a motion that we appoint these people as commissioners of the Union County Housing Authority with the terms that I just read.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes. Next on the agenda is a resolution appointing commissioner of the Clear Creek Levee and Drainage District, Matthew Follis. The Main Drainage District has sent us their pick for this, which is Matthew Follis, who wishes to extend his term, which would expire September 1st, 2019. This came from Karen Balance, the Secretary Treasurer. Therefore, I'll make a motion for resolution appointing Commissioner of Clear Creek Levee and Drainage District. Matthew Follis.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes. Next is resolution appointing commissioner of the Preston Levee District, David McMahon. Likewise, we have received a letter from the district wishing to reinstate David McMahon to the position of levee commissioner, which would expire in 2019. I'll make a motion to reappoint David McMahon to the Preston Levee and Drainage District.
Well, you said expired in 19?
It will
That's what
expire in
it
September.
currently does.
2019.
Okay, all right.
Pardon?
It currently does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes. Next on the agenda, resolution affirming support for the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and Section 22 of Article 1 of the Illinois Constitution. I'm just going to read the beginning and end of this resolution that we have written, I should say, the state's attorney wrote prior to leaving the office. Whereas the right of the people to keep and bear arms is protected as an individual right under the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, as interpreted by the United States Supreme Court and incorporated against the states through the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, as interpreted by the United States Supreme Court. The last provision in this, and this will be available for everybody to read, we drafted this from one of the examples that the gentleman came and presented to us, 2 meetings ago? Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of the County of Union, Illinois, do hereby oppose the enactment of any legislation by the Illinois General Assembly that would violate the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and Section 22 of Article 1 of the Constitution of the State of Illinois. I make a motion that we approve this resolution.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No problem. That gives us on the map whatever color it was that he showed us. So,
Yep. We're one of the many starting in the counties of Illinois.
That's everything as far as new business. Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, we do need to go in executive session for the discussion of employees. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Make motion.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller, Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes. We take about 5